All right, doing an oil painting today. We got more new setups. I'm just trying stuff. So I've got a light over there, and I've got a light like pointing up at the ceiling to make it so that it's not reflecting any light. It's kind of just sort of reflecting light off of the ceiling, which seems to be working. It's a little bit darker than it usually is, but I don't know. It seems okay. But we're gonna try it. We're gonna see what happens. I am a little worried though, because this light over here gets really hot and overheats. That one doesn't though, and that one's the main light, so we'll see what happens. Worst case, we'll use this, little battery operated candle. Then you won't be able to see anything. So the first thing I'm going to do with this painting is I'm going to tint the canvas, and most people use burnt sienna, I think. But I don't have burnt sienna, so I'm going to use yellow ochre. And usually what they'll do is they'll take some paint thinner and they'll sort of mix that into their paint. I'm going to do the same thing with water because these are water mixable oils. I'm just going to put a little bit of that right there. It's probably a lot more than I need. Maybe I'll use it in the painting. I'm just going to like kind of wet the canvas a little bit here with some water. This might totally backfire on me and be a disaster, but we're going to try it. I haven't tried tinting the canvas with water mixable oils like this before, so we're going to see how it goes. Usually what I do is I'll just use like an acrylic paint. So I'll just tint it with an acrylic paint, a really kind of thin acrylic wash, and then I'll just use that. We're not doing that this time. This time we're going to try using some oil paint. It's a little bit lighter than I want, but it's okay. Trying to make sure there's not a whole lot of paint on there. Otherwise, that's going to make my life really difficult. And I'm probably going to pick some of this up with a paper towel or something too. But just experimenting. I'm keeping an eye on the camera too to make sure that you can kind of see okay. I'm not crazy about it. It seems like the lighting isn't great, so I might try and throw on another light here and see if that's better, but I'm going to stick with this for now. It seems like it's kind of streaking around, like I can push it around. So I'm a little bit worried if I actually wipe this off, it's not going to stay. But we're going to try it because right now I couldn't paint on this. It could be that I used too much water and it's not really going to stick. Yeah, see, I think I'm just picking all of that up. Yeah, it didn't really work out at all. That's why we try things. Yeah. All right. Well, oh well. Plan didn't work. I'll just paint on a white canvas then. Okay, so I'm missing a color. I need to find my white. There it is. Today I'm just using my typical palette. The three primaries, white and burnt umber. So let me bust them colors out. Painting a landscape today. It's hopefully going to be a nice springtime sort of not a cherry blossom, but sort of those white trees. Should really learn the names of trees so I can describe them a little better. Painting a white tree is what we're doing. Kind of a blossoming white tree. And I want the background to be real kind of dark. And I'm going to experiment with making it a lot darker than it is in my reference photo. And so there might be a lot of scraping off of canvas going on today. And it might be 2 sessions. And this painting might not turn out. Which is, I guess, a disclaimer I should put on all of them. Because I do these live and I'm trying to capture the whole process. And sometimes these paintings don't make it. Sometimes the paint gets scraped off of them. And they get painted over. I haven't failed one yet. I probably shouldn't say that because I'm going to jinx it. Since I've been recording them, all the ones I've tried have been turned out all right. Really need to refill on paint. Seems like all my paints are kind of running out. All right, so I'm going to put in my darks first. Maybe I'll do a little sketch with my brush here. So I think what I want to do is split this guy right in half. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. You can kind of see it. I'll give it a little more paint so I can actually sort of see it a little better. There you go. Keeping a really loose sort of sketch here. Because I don't really like to, I like to draw and like make graphite art, but I don't like to draw really. I don't like to draw precisely. Just kind of funny because my job is I'm an engineer, so I used to draw all the time. But I just don't, when I'm painting, it's not really that's not what I want to do. I don't want to be trying to figure out proportions and all that stuff is kind of my least favorite part. My favorite part is the colors and trying to get all that. Trying to make it pretty. Obviously, you kind of have to get your proportions right so that the composition looks good, but it's just not my favorite bit. What I'm doing here is just saying where I want my trees. This is going to be a tree. That's going to be a tree. Going to be another tree. This tree might be a little bit bigger, I think. And this tree might be a little bit bigger. And then I think I get another guy kind of over here. Okay. And I'm debating this. There's sort of a path over here in my reference, and I don't know that I care to paint it because I don't really love the colors going on in it. But I'll put it in there just because it ain't gonna hurt me. It's all getting painted over anyhow. Okay. And that's for the drawing, that's all I'm doing. I don't need nothing more than that. So I'm gonna wash my brush off now. Just with some regular water. So I'm gonna go into some dark colors and I don't wanna lighten them up too much. Probably didn't have to do that. Because really, I was thinking you don't want white in your dark colors. It's really what you don't want. And that was yellow ochre, so it probably wouldn't have clouded them up much. Because when you get a little bit of white in your dark colors, they get sort of cloudy. It's not really what you want when you're making dark colors. But the first thing I'm going to do is mix up like a pretty dark black. Just some brown, some blue. And if you want a bluer black, put more blue. If you want a browner black, put more brown. I think I'm going to go more on the brown side. And right now it's a little bit on the blue side. Alright, that's my straight up black. I'm going to go ahead and start throwing that in. Yeah, that's probably about the darkest bits. I'll be painting dark to light in this painting, I think. I'm going to get kind of a lighter bit. And this one is going to be more just brown. I think I'm going to throw, maybe I'll try a little bit of this yellow ochre in there. Probably too much. Just to lighten it up a little bit. Could have thrown some cadmium yellow in there. That's what my instincts told me to do, but I kind of want to use that. Since I put it there, I think I want this more red, so I'm going to throw some red in it. I like that better. I think I'm going to lighten it up a little bit, so I'm going to throw some more of that in there. And a little bit more red. I think that's too red, so I'm going to throw some more brown in there. And maybe a little bit more this yellow and like a touch of blue. It's going to make it a little bit greener, and that's the opposite of red, so I'll turn that red down a little bit. Okay, that's close, pretty close to the color I wanted. I'm hoping if I make this a little bit red, it'll contrast, because down here there's going to be some kind of green things. I noticed that when you get some kind of dull brown reds, they tend to look really good with bright greens. All right, now I need to think about what I want to do next. And get another paper towel. Okay, I think I'm going to throw some more of this over in here. I'm going to go all the way off of it with this. All right, I'll throw some of this up in here. I'm going to try to keep this over here pretty, not a lot of paint over here, because I think there's going to be some tree branches that get painted in there. All right. I think I'm going to get a little bit of this in here. A little bit of this over here. All right. Now I think I'm going to mix up the brighter color. So that one's going to be a bit like this color, but more yellow. This yellow ochre's coming in handy. Going a little bit redder than that. Let me just try some of that now. I want it lighter. Good. I think that's good there. I'm going to throw some of that in there. Still not really feeling bright enough. Maybe I just need to clean my brush off. It's probably got a lot of dark color in it. Try that. Here's the other thing I'll do. I'll just dab some of that paint off of there. That way I don't have quite as much to paint over. Not much of that over there. Alright. I think I'm gonna brush some of that in here. Maybe I'll use that later. It's kind of a back layer. Okay. Now I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the green parts now. Okay, I'm gonna leave this brush uncleaned and put it to the side. I just realized my brush holder is like right next to my light. There's about 100% chance I'm gonna paint my light accidentally. It should be entertaining. It's not on camera though, which is kind of a shame. Okay, I'm switching to a smaller brush so I don't have to mix quite so much paint. I'm probably going to end up using some bigger brushes later on, but I just don't want to mix quite as much paint right now. Let's see, where do I want to put the greens? I'm going to put them right here, I guess. I'm going to mix the darkest green first. Kind of mixing like a little bit of a stream here so I can pick what I want. I think I want it to be more on the yellow side. Well, I think I'm going to use this actually. I'll go ahead and use that. Just mixing some more of it now. Let's start with this color. I'm going to put a bush like right here. So I'm trying to make those marks by sort of like, I'm kind of stabbing this palette here to sort of break the bristles up a little bit. And I'm kind of doing the same thing on the canvas, but a lot lighter on the canvas, because if you push hard, it's going to smudge it. So you kind of want to lightly touch and just let the canvas take what it wants. And I'm going to paint some dark spots in there with some black, and it'll look a little bit better, I think. But I think that's about the color that I wanted. And then I'm just going to get some kind of more regular sort of brush strokes back in here. I think this is all going to have to change a little bit in here. No, we're going to try it the way it is for now. I'm going to go kind of a darker green. I'm going to throw that in here. Not worrying too much about this quite yet. I'm trying to paint some of the dark greens in. I think I'm going to mix up a duller dark green too. It's just going to be lots of red, blue, I should have started with yellow. Make a really desaturated looking green. I was thinking sort of this color. Let's see. I think I'm going to kind of just throw that in the edges around here. Just sort of toss it around. Drop some of that in here. All right, so I think I want a lot of that in here. And I think I'm going to like carve out a bush later on out of that. And so I'm going to kind of surround that bush in a lighter color. It said lighter. Lighter. Okay. I'm going to throw that. Ooh, still not light enough. I'm going to be eating some yellow in this painting, let me tell you. Because I keep starting with blue instead of yellow. All right. Try to throw some of that back in there. So it looks sort of like a bush. And really I want that even lighter back there, I think. I'll try just throwing some actual just yellow in there. Okay. Now I think I'm going to throw this green around over here. This is a bit too desaturated. So I think I'm gonna make a new blue over here. Sorry, green over here. I think I got some red in there, which is not gonna be helping me. I kind of take some of that paint off so I can throw a little bit of this green in there. A little easier. Okay. I might get worked on a little later. But I think I'm gonna go back in and just close up the gaps here with some of this kind of red brown. Alright, and I want to add some kind of dark bits in the middle there. I'm going to do some of that. Mix up a little more black. I'll throw some of that in there. I'm going to throw some of that in here too. Alright, I'm going to put some of that in the bush now. And that's looking a little more like a bush now. I think I'm going to throw some of that. Let me dab some of that off. Throw some of that in there. I don't know how I feel about that. I might have to get fixed later. Alright. Let's see what I want to do next. I think I'm going to do... I think I'm just going to do the path. Okay. I'm going to get the green off of this brush. Or at least a bit of the green off of this brush. I'm going to mix up some kind of light colors. Finish off this yellow ochre that I put in there. I kind of want sort of a orangey brown, but kind of light. I think that'll do there. A bit darker, I think, actually. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to get some kind of warmer yellows and throw some lights in there. I'm going to do that with a different brush so I don't have to clean that one again. I need more yellow. I'm going to start with white. Throw this over here. And drop some yellow in there. I want it a little bit green, so I'm going to touch some blue in there. More yellow. Still too yellow. Yeah, that's actually too green now. Touch some red in there now. And just like that, I wrecked my color. It's easy to do. Okay. We're back to something workable. Just gonna throw it in, see what it looks like. Still too green. I throw more yellow in there and then like a tiny bit of red. Let's try that. That's better. Okay. Let's see. I think I want kind of a shadow. So I'm going to put some blue in there. And then a little bit of red. That's too much red. More red. A little more blue. Okay. And I think I want kind of an orange color. There's some white in it. And a little bit of blue. I put too much blue in there. I'm gonna try it. Yeah, it's too green. There's some more red in there. Yeah, that's better. Well, not quite light enough. All right. I think I'm gonna have to do something with that later. But that's how it stays for now. Now it's time to get into the trees. I think I'm gonna start with these trees. Let's see what this color is. It's not a bad color to start. Throw that in there. Just the color that's on the brush. They already kind of look like tree trunks. I didn't even do nothing. Okay. That worked out really well. Okay. So now I think I'm going to throw some darks on the bottom of them. It's one. Okay, I'm gonna throw some really saturated green in there too, just to see what happens. I have completely run out of yellow. It's a disaster. I guess I'm just going to use this. Just going to touch some of that in there. That was actually too... It's too dark of a green, really. I need more yellow. Stand by. This might be the end of this tube of yellow here. Where did my brush go? I'm going to try to put this on there a little carefully. A little more carefully. Okay. Just trying to alter the color a little bit, like in the green direction. So it looks like there's some moss in there. And that's all I want to do. Okay. Now I'm going to throw some orange in there. I think I can use the yellow ochre to do that. The color isn't far off. Just picked another small filbert to do this. I think I'm gonna like scrub a little portion out of there. Put that in. Just where some light's hitting it or something. Okay. And I need to fix that because now I've erected it. Put my darks back in there. Okay. Now I'm going to use this very small brush to add some details on this tree because that always goes very well. All right. Now I need to think. Before I think. Carve that tree in a little bit. I'm gonna take some of that paint off and paint in a tree limb or something in there. Just like that, a limb was born. I think I'm gonna try to add a little bit more. on this tree. All right, I'm gonna add some branches on the top of them. Kind of fade that down in there. And one up in there. Add some kind of smaller ones in there. All right, that's all I'm doing. I ain't doing nothing on this guy. I probably should have done that. I think I biffed him a little bit there, but it's okay. I'll fix him later. Because right now, I've got other things to do. Like worry about this big tree. And then figure out what I'm doing up here. All this white's making me, it's making me nervous. That's why at the beginning I was trying to tint the canvas. I tell you, there's a little bit of fear that goes away when you tint the canvas. If you're a painter and you struggle with getting started, that's a good little trick to get started. Is just start with tinting the canvas. Makes the whole process look just a little less scary. You're staring at a big white rectangle or whatever. Ain't got nothing on it. And you're supposed to turn it into a tree or something. It'd be a little intimidating. What do I want to do now? What do I want to do? Part of me wants to go crazy and do like some palette knife painting on this tree right here. So I'll paint like a black tree and then I'll put the bark on it real thick with a palette knife. That might be kind of neat. Maybe that's what we'll try to do. This painting, I'm sort of thinking about doing a lot. I'm kind of just trying to get stuff down, and I'm gonna fix things later because I don't have a real strong plan on this one. Let me think here. All right. I think I'm gonna try to get the colors right, and then I'll go in with a palette knife and touch it up. Do a little bit of both. So let's get my middle kind of size brush. This guy out. He's got lots of green on him. Maybe I can use that green in there. Yeah, I can use that green in there. And at the bottom. Just kind of wiping some of that off so I can paint over it a little bit. That's all I'm doing. Still thinking. Let me. Let's do this part first, I think. Let's get some green in there. All right, now I need to figure out some colors. I get my other brush here and clean it off good. Okay, that's pretty clean. So now I want like a really light pale green, which is not a color I mix often, but that's what these cherry blossoms are looking like to me. So I'm gonna start with a lot of white. Put that here. I'll put a bit of yellow in there. Just gonna put the tiniest baby touch of blue in there. Little tiny baby bit more blue. Really got to be careful not to overdo it. This blue is strong. It's getting there. This is like the lightest color that I want, so maybe I'll start another pile over here. Darken it up a little bit. That's too yellow. Needs to be more green. Add a tiny bit of blue. I'm kind of pre-mixing some of these so that I can paint a little bit without having to mix colors as I paint. Okay. It's getting pretty close to where I want it. So now I want one darker than that. I'm gonna start with white again. And this one, I go, maybe I'll just try throwing some brown in it. Not a lot of brown. Not too much brown. I'm gonna throw some blue in there. That's a yellow. Some blue. Oh, that was a lot of blue. Yeah, I think it needs to be a lot more yellow. Okay, that there is a color that is not far away from what I want. In fact, that's pretty close. I think I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with that. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of this, throw it over here, and then I'm going to darken it up with some blue. This will be like the darkest variant of that. A little brown in there. And needs more yellow. Killed all the green in it. The brown. Okay. Alright, we're gonna try this. We're gonna see how this goes. This might be a disaster. Throw some of that in there. Okay, I'm gonna try putting that on there with this big pet brush like this. Need more of this color, so I'm gonna mix some more of that up. A little bit of blue, a little bit of white, a little bit of brown, a little bit of yellow, a little more brown. That's way too much brown. Still too much brown. I'm gonna use a lot of this color. Just trying to get a little bit of texture in there. Maybe I won't have to paint too much over it. Mixing a little bit darker of a color. I can throw some of that in here. Alright, I'm going to go in with some black. Turn this thing into a tree, hopefully. Right now it's looking a little rough. It's kind of a weird shape. I think I'm going to have to cut it in with the other colors when it gets finished. Don't give up on me yet. I ain't ruined it quite yet. We're getting there though. Alright. Throw a branch in over here. Another one in here. Thinking there's a tree over in there somewhere. It's a big old tree. It turned out a lot bigger than I wanted it to. Alright, let's get some more these colors in here. Okay. I'm going to go into the lighter color now. So I'm just cleaning my stippling brush. Okay, so I'm going into this color now. Throw some of that over here. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to move on to the brightest color. And then I'm going to put the darks in, and we're going to see what we've got. Because right now it's looking like nothing. That's how it goes. Okay, let's get some of those in here. I don't know if I have enough of this color to do it. Okay. It's time to put my darks in. I think we're going to go with more of that red brown. I think I need to use a smaller brush. Otherwise I'm going to be regretting my decisions. I'm going to clean off my other brush here. I need more paper towels. Uh, we're gonna really have to negative paint some stuff in there. This one's gonna be difficult to fix. It's gonna be a lot of palette knife in this one. Because I misjudged all of this color. And I kind of hate the sky. The sky was an experiment. I was thinking, what if the sky was this dark red color? And that turned out to be very questionable. But we're gonna stick with it and see where it goes. Kind of trying to like carve tree into here now. I think I'm gonna take this off. All right. Let's bust out the palette knife. See what we can do. This one might be first one that doesn't turn out on this channel. I'll be sad. I'll have to figure out what to do for the thumbnail on that. Need more blue. I'm gonna mix with a brush instead of this palette knife. That's my dark brush. Let's get my light brush out. All right. So I'm going to try to mix up some of these colors again, and I'm going to put it on real thick with a palette knife. Well, let me see if I can get the right color in there. So I didn't really get I didn't quite judge the color right, I feel like. I feel like it's supposed to be more like yellow and a little bit more red. Oh, too much red. It's like a really dull green that I want, but it's kind of a warm green. It's a weird color. I think that's it. Yeah, that's kind of what I had. Maybe I was right the first time. Just need to put it in and trust it. All right, I'm gonna throw some of that in over here, and then up here too. I have to mix up some more of that dark color too. I have to put those tree branches back in. It's okay. I don't know, I kind of like the colors. I mean, the shapes are all like bungled right now, but that's gonna, I'm gonna be carving stuff in here. Right now, I'm just trying to get the colors, and I don't have the bright colors in because all this is gonna get much brighter over here, which might look really strange. Okay, now I need to put more of that brown red in there. It's going right there. Okay. I'm gonna mix up some of the light colors. Throw some yellow, a tiny bit of blue in there. Trying to get that pale green. Okay, that'll do it. I'm going to throw this on with the palette knife, see how that works out. I'll try to get a lot of it. I'm just going to drag it. See what happens. Okay, so I need a darker version of that, so I'm going to try and get this in there. Since I got it. Throw some of that in there. I got to mix up some more of that dark color. Go ahead and do that. It's yellow and a little more blue. And I need brown. Throw just a little bit of brown in there. Okay. Alright, I like that color. Throw some of that on there. I get these paints. I guess that's where they're staying. Alright, I need a darker color now. I'm going to just take that and throw some brown in it. That's a lot of brown. Still a lot of brown. I want a little bit of blue in there. Some yellow. There's a little too much yellow, so I'm going to throw some blue in there. That should be kind of a green. Okay, that's about what I wanted. I totally wrecked my bush down there. I'm gonna have to like completely repaint that. This turned into a palette knife painting, so. Try to scratch some of that off because I'm gonna put some lights in there. Alright, I'm gonna go with like just a slightly off white. So I'm just gonna use the paint in my brush to get what I want. I'm gonna throw a little bit of yellow, a tiny bit of blue in it. Alright. Throw that on there. I'm gonna use the back of the knife so I can control it a little easier. That was too light. Wiping this off so I can cut it in. I'm gonna cut it in with just black and that dark color, dark red color I was using. Need more paint, so I'm gonna throw some more blue and brown in there, get some more black. That was a mistake. Okay, what to do now? I think what needs to happen is I need to cut the tree in and then add something to set it in. Now let's scrub some of that off. Okay, it's looking better. Add some more of that dark red in there. All right, now I want to fix this push down here. All right. I'm gonna add another one over here. I don't know if this one's gonna turn out. It's looking a little rough. definitely looking a little rough. I mean, it still needs a lot of work before I'm going to call it anything close to done, but just sort of seems like some ideas here didn't really turn out. I don't know, maybe it's still too early to tell. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I killed my green. Get another bush over here, why not? Okay. Now my plan is take some cadmium red and add some flowers in those bushes. You know, I think it's really too early to be adding finishing touches like that, but I gotta have something pretty to look at because right now this thing it's looking not good. Maybe if I make a nice bush, it'll inspire me to finish strong. Oh, way too much of that cadmium red on this canvas. That's okay. Oh, I don't like that one. It's getting yoinked off of there. Doing some finger painting now. Add some of this brown color I got in there to cut the edge of that path in a little bit. I'm gonna blend that in. I'm just trying to change the color a little bit. Probably should have done it with the palette knife, but that's what I've done. Just mixing up that ground color again. I'm gonna scrub it in. Yeah, it's a little too green. There's some red in it. Try to vary that up a little bit. Some darker spots in there. Alright, I need some kind of an in-between color there, I think. See if I can just... Can I do that? Is that gonna work? No. I need a intermediate green. Every time I switch brushes, I get entirely blinded by my light. I was setting that light up, I didn't really think about that. It's come back to bite me. I feel better about this paint now that it's got some bushes in it, though. Oh. I killed one of my roses. It's alright, I'm just trying to take some of this paint off so I can put an intermediate color in between them. Needs like a green in there. I think this will do it. Alright. Now we need to actually do something with the trees. A bit I've been dreading. I think I'm going to lighten this up a little bit. I lightened it up just by taking some of the paint off, letting the canvas show through underneath. That's all I did there. Alright, I need to mix some new colors. Because the ones I got going on right now ain't doing it for me. Let's try putting just the white in. The brightest brights. Alright, I'm gonna wash this brush off. I'm just gonna try putting in the very brightest bits just to see what it looks like. Because the brightest bits are gonna be over here. I just want to see if I need to change the sky color. to try. Guess I gotta put them on real thick. Uh, Not sure. I mean, at this point, I'm basically committed. I don't know. It's going to be really hard to change that sky color. There's all kinds of like white everywhere. This one might work out. I don't know. It's starting to look a little better now that I'm getting some brights in there. I'm gonna vary up the color here pretty soon and go into a mid-tone. Honestly, I'm not sure I've got enough white to finish this painting. I'm using a lot of it. Alright, now it's time to mix a big pile of a green tinted white. Okay, it's about maybe a little more blue. And a little more yellow. Okay. I think I'm going to try and pick up some paint so I don't have to put it on quite as thick as I was putting the white on. Because I don't have that much paint left. And I don't have a backup tube of white, sorry to say. So if I run out of paint, this painting is kaputski. I mean, I'll just finish it tomorrow or something, but... Ooh. Well, we're doing it. I am not going to have enough paint. There just ain't no way. I'm going to run out before I finish my tree. And I'm going to cry. Because I have to go to the store, buy more paint. To be fair, if I got the color right the first time, I wouldn't have to put it on quite so thick. So I do blame myself. The thing about it is, if I was almost out of any other color, I could probably finish the painting. And white's just... gotta have white. Gotta have it. Okay. I'm gonna try and get what I got on there. All right, this is looking more like a painting now. Let me stand up and take a look back. I'm gonna add some branches in there, but I'm happier with it than I thought I would be, honestly. We were in dire straits there for a little while. We were getting into scraping territory. So what I'm gonna do now is ruin this painting with a palette knife I'm gonna put some branches in there. Maybe I won't use the palette knife, I'll try to use a brush. I think it's gonna be hard though because I've got so much paint on there already. It's gonna be hard to use a brush to get that on there, but I'm gonna go real thick and try to get some branches in there. Just trying to get a little more interesting bits in there. I'm gonna try scratching some branches in. With the knife. Hopefully that noise isn't too rough on the microphone. I don't really want to overdo it with these scratched in things. they get really obvious really fast. Sometimes they add like kind of a subtle, some subtle things going on. Other times they can really look like, oh, he just scratched the painting a bunch of times. So I try not to get into that territory. It's picking up some of that white paint and making interesting things happen too, which is nice. Throwing some of that in in there as well. Not much. Just some to suggest some grass and stuff in there. All right. I think I need to add some more tree branches. So let's do some of that. That's my light brush. Like I said, I can't really find which brush is the right brush in the brush holder because the light's right behind it, so it just blinds me. Maybe it's making me paint better because I've got a big spot in the center of my vision where I can't see now that I've looked at my brush holder. I don't know how. I gotta be kind of careful with this. Because I don't want it to be too much I don't want it to be too much contrast. I'm gonna blend some of that out. This feels like there's needs to be some branches in there. So I'm gonna add just some suggestions branches. I get some brown. I throw a little bit of white in it. And a little bit of this green in it. I guess I might have to put some green in it with my blue and yellow. Okay. This will be less contrast. Ooh, made a mistake there. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just use the liner brush. Do some of that with a liner. Just carving that tree back in because I messed it up. I feel like the foreground needs something more. Maybe I'll put another bush in there, like in the corner. It feels like, I don't know, it feels a little plain to me. I don't know why. I already got enough bushes in there. I'm not sure. Not sure what I want to do. All right. All right, let me bust out the liner here. I actually don't know where my liner brush is, so you're gonna have to give me just a moment to find it. I haven't used a liner brush in a painting in quite a long time. Well, in an oil painting, I mean, I use them in watercolor paintings pretty frequently, but oil paintings, not so much. I tend to prefer to do sort of impressionistic looking paintings, and so they don't really come up much in impressionistic paintings because bigger brush means more interesting brush marks a lot of the time. Let's see if I get it in my... Okay. Yeah, I got a liner in here that I can use. Doing bad things, I'm mixing my acrylic brushes and my oil brushes. You know, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some linseed oil, I think. Not linseed oil, but the oil, water mixable oil equivalent. This is water mixable oil medium. That just is going to make it so that the paint flows a little easier. So what I'm going to do is mix up some dark color with my brush that has dark color on it. I think it's this one. It is. And then what I'm going to do is put a little bit of this medium on it. If I can figure out how to open it. Inscrutable. I'm just going to dip my brush in it. Get kind of a lot of that on there. I'm just going to drop that in the oil paint. And then kind of twist my brush so it makes a nice fine point. And then I'm going to throw some branches in there. Somehow. There's one. All right. Not sure if what I'm doing now is making my painting better or worse. And when you get to that point, it's usually a good idea to stop. So if you can't tell if you're improving it or making it worse, you're going to start making it worse pretty soon. It's better to stop before you make it worse, I think. This painting definitely is a little different than I imagined it would be. I like it. Don't hate it near as much as I expected to about 20 minutes ago. Or however long it was ago when I was still yeeking about it. Alright, I think I gotta add another bush at the bottom though. I think that's gotta happen. So I'm gonna clean this liner good. And then I'm gonna put another bush in. Because I gotta. Alright, this is my dark. I'm gonna go ahead and just put the darks in. And then I'm gonna get some green. Okay. Got some green in there now. Let's put some black in there. Alright. Now for the finishing touches on that bush. Gotta throw some red bits on him. Don't really want to overdo it with this red. Alright, what next? Maybe nothing? Maybe something. Probably nothing. I think I'm gonna actually scratch in some twigs and stuff in here. Okay, let's bust it off of a... I've taped it down here, so it's gonna be treacherous. And I just stuck my hand in it. Let me fix that real fast. Good going. Did minimal damage. Let me use the palette knife to pry it up so I'm not doing damage. Tape off the back of it. Alright, so here's what we got. Definitely not the worst painting ever done. I don't hate it. Actually, this bit up here turned out really quite nice in my opinion. I really like it starts sort of dark over here and it gets light over there. I mean, it really gives it sort of a dusk feel. Like the sun's just going down and it's getting real dark over here and it's still sort of light over there. I'm liking that. This tree turned out pretty good, despite what it looked like before. The bushes, I like the bushes. I don't hate the bushes. I got that tree back in there looking pretty subtle. This tree here, I think it looks good. I think it looks all right. So I think we're going to call it there for tonight. Give you a bit closer up view. That's what we got. Not too bad. That's all I got for today.